Alright, so we've downloaded and got our materials ready to apply. So now I'm just going to go ahead and apply the materials and sort of take a look at them. And then we'll actually create the countertop and place it on there. So again, I would go ahead and make your materials and look at them first. So I'm just going to pick this, and I have made, these are just generic model in place. And so I've made 3 different material parameters for them. So I'll just go ahead and flip out the wood cherry for the marble. Oh, I misspelled that. How annoying. Let's see if I can rename it. Marble, right? Alright, so I'll put the marble blue on that guy. Click OK. And then on the anodized aluminum, I'll go ahead and get the rough marble and put it on there so we can take a look at both of them at the same time. Alright, and click OK. And just click off of them, and you can kind of see both of them. And they're pretty much the same at this point. In Revit, they're going to look the same. We're going to adjust the marble rough when we get it into Inkscape because it'll be much easier to see how it works in there. So let's take a look, and I'm using MT, the shortcut, to open up my material browser. If you don't know that, you can go to the manage and there's a materials over here. But what I want to do is look at the marble blue. And this, even though it's seamless, right, it's a little blue and it's a little bit looks like it's painted on. So there's a couple of things we can do about that. Oftentimes what I will do is I will come in and fade it, and if you hit apply, right, you'll see it fade and it's going to gray. You could actually make it go to white, and what that's doing is it's actually doing a blend between these two. Now it's doing 54% of the image and 66% of the color. So maybe a light gray, or you could even go, make it a little bluer if you wanted to, right? And click OK and hit apply. And you'll start to sort of get a little bit of a fade out on that. You can also put a bump on this one. So if you come in and go to that blue marble, we do have the displacement, and we also have the specular. You could try the specular and see how that works, right? And just make sure that if I click on this, that it's set to the same size. So if I go to 2 feet, right, and click done, hit apply, you'll start to get a little bit of a bump on there. So I would recommend doing that. And then let's wait until, actually let's go ahead to the marble rough, and we'll go ahead and pull the image fade out quite a bit and set it to sort of maybe a light gray, because this is going to be not as clear as the other marble, right? And then here's the bump map, right? So we'll play with that once we get into once we get it on the countertop and into Inkscape. So I'll just click OK here, and then what I'll do is come in and I'll go to my 3D view, and I'm just going to make the countertop outside of here. So if I go into my level 1 floor plan, I can come in and just go to architecture component model in place, and I'll make it casework, click OK, and I'll make it countertop. Alright, and then I'll do an extrusion, and I want that extrusion to start at, let's do 2'9", and I want it to end at 3 feet, right? And then I'll just go in and sort of draw this countertop. So I want the countertop, let's go ahead and make maybe a 15-foot countertop, right? And then it will go forward maybe 1 foot. And let me hit escape there, and I'll just do this one forward 1 foot as well. Oops, missed that. I'll just trim it out. Okay, and then I'll do a curve on the front. So I'll just pick this spline and kind of curve it, a little bit. Right, and you could go in and sort of play with it if you wanted it to be, more or less curvy, right? And then if I hit the big green check, it will put that, and if I go to my 3D view, I can kind of come in and take a look at the sky. Maybe I'll go back to my 3D view too and sort of pop out of this and zoom over and look at it in perspective, right? So now what I want to do is apply the material to it. So I'll pick this guy and go back. I'm still in the family, right? So I'll pick this and I'm going to put a material parameter on it by clicking on the gray box right here and new, and I'll call this guy countertop. Okay, so counter mat. Okay, and I'm going to make it an instance material so it comes up in the properties dialog box. Okay, and then I'll finish the model. I'll pick it, and you'll see I'll have that counter mat up here, and I'll apply the marble blue, right, and click OK. And now you can kind of see how that marble's getting applied. And so one thing that's also helpful is maybe if I go into, let's see if I can get far enough out. Woo. Let's go ahead and pick this guy, and let's move him. Whoop. Not that guy. And let's move him out and move him maybe over to the counter so we can start to get some idea of, you know, how big this guy is. And let's, right, so you can start to see a little bit of how the scale of that is. So you could go in and start to play with this guy now. So if I go to MT and get that marble blue up, I can come in and start to play with the size of that guy. So if I click on this and I wanted it to be smaller or larger, I could come in and adjust that. So maybe if I'm not happy with it, I can just go to 1 foot there and click done and then hit apply, and you can see it get smaller, right? You can also play with the glossiness and all that kind of stuff, and you could play also with the specular map, like let me go ahead and link the texture transforms, and I'll put this at 1 foot and put this up and done and apply, right? And you'll start to see it get a little bit more bumpy. You can sort of play with the amount of the bump, but if I click OK, just get it to a point that you're happy with it, and then we'll come back and we'll do the rough front on the edge of this.